a sinner, left my lover crying on the dance floor. I'm a sinner, I'm a sinner.
Hey guys, welcome to Sinfully Fun Games. Today we're looking at S&M Story, Emily Live Show, and I'm joined with someone this time.
Guess who's here to kill your raging erection?
That's right, Mike's gonna join me for this VTuber hentai game that you can get on Steam. I don't know, the devs sent it to me, so why not? What would you like your pronouns to be?
Name Alex, body. Wait, here's a curious. What are our actual options? Okay, so there's only 3 different options. I mean, should we just be as, like, plain as fuck? Like, we're literally just like a mannequin looking to get laid?
Or should we just call ourselves Bob then? Bob's the most mannequin name.
Is it?
But what would name would... I don't want it. No.
I think it should be androgynous if you're gonna do a man. Never mind.
I know exactly what you want to do. No.
You pick. Okay.
A good standby? What color would you like to be? You can't be black as night.
It looks like we can't be that dark, unfortunately. It looks like we're gonna have to go. So do we go with pasty white guy, tanned white guy, or really tanned white guy?
Oh, really tan. Alright, there we go. I wonder if we actually get to see ourselves.
Be interesting.
The monotone you want to know what? You're reading first, because I've lost my
Alright.
mind.
The monotone noise of the train. During these few days, I've already managed to get used to the rumbling of the wheels and the constant swaying. The ride turned out to be long, but calm and without any incident.
There's a joke in there about long.
And hard. Since I ran out of the typical traveler's entertainment for myself, it became a bit boring.
That's when you bring a Switch.
When you bring a fleshlight.
No.
The landscape outside brought some variety. The fields and meadows began to be replaced by birch groves, and over some time by full-fledged Tiaja forest. Or Tiaga, I don't know how you say it. When I got bored with the views of nature, I turned my attention to the people in the same car as me.
You've been just staring out the window for like an hour, and the person next to you is like, Hi! Hi! Are you deaf?
Wonder if you-
Hi!
As long as you're not licking the window.
It's if you're really bored on the train. Or you've taken something else before the train ride.
The goal of my trip is N City. It's not the biggest town in the depths of Siberia. It was the last stop. The train doesn't go any further. Oh god, are you on a prison train?
What did you do?
Apparently it was bad enough to go to the gulags. Because the trip was so long, passengers were constantly getting on and off the train. Having dozed off for a while, you could wake up to completely new faces. And to those you've just talked to a couple of hours ago have disappeared without saying goodbye. I took a closer look at the seats around me, and they were already noticeably empty. One of the funniest fellow travelers was an old man who was telling tales and gimmicky jokes. They left about half an hour ago at some remote station. A couple of gloomy young people were sitting with their faces buried in their phones, and they showed no interest in talking with anyone around them.
They were playing Candy Crush.
They were playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
I went into the train vestibule where I instantly noticed a bright-looking girl who seemed to have recently boarded the train. There were just several hours left before the end of the journey, so she most likely was heading to N City, like everyone else here.
If you see that, that's when you turn around and get the hell off the train. It's got fangs.
It's mostly the smile, yeah. It's mostly the I'm going to eat you smile and not in a fun way.
Nom nom.
The girl didn't seem too shy to me, so I decided to try and talk to her. Good evening. Do you mind a little company?
Oh, I know what voice this is getting.
The girl got distracted from her thoughts and looked at me. It looks like she is wearing contact lenses because her eyes turned out to be a vivid pink color.
I guess. I don't mind. Do you want something? Or are you just bored on the ride too?
She had a rather pleasant and soft voice. I looked at her a little more closely. There was something else about her vivid image. Yes, exactly. The print on her clothes. How the hell did I not see it right away? Well, now I definitely have something to talk about. I went to End City for a reason, and it was for my investigation. And it looks like this girl could be my first unsuspecting respondent. I just noticed the print on your clothes. You seem to enjoy... anal? I paused a little, trying to find the right wording of the topic, which I haven't fully understood yet.
This chick enjoys pegging.
God damn it! I swear to God. However, even the beginning of my phrase was enough for a response. The girl's eyes lit up. She threw her hands up happily.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, it's so nice to meet someone who appreciates all of my merch. This rarely happens. I'd honestly make fun of her, but I was wearing a t-shirt today with Suka on it.
Boom.
Yeah. Either no one gets this or they hesitate to approach.
He winked at me, saying the last couple of words. Well, it seems like a good start. I just recently found out about them. However, I might not be aware of some very obvious facts to such devoted fans as you are. So sorry in advance.
No, it's absolutely fine. Meeting someone who knows about Emmy and Nia is already great for me. It's nice to talk to someone in real life and not on streams and in chats.
I feel personally attacked by that.
I know.
But doesn't Emmy and Nia have more fans here in End City?
You know what's the worst part is what I think the city's called.
Yeah, no, that is exactly my thought too, but I don't think that's what it is. It's supposed to be, yeah, no, if that's what that city is called, then she's going there for a lot of reasons.
Even if it was like that, I don't live here constantly. However, I'm thinking about moving here. There aren't too many fans in End City, but very few people haven't heard about Emmy. It's true, but they have a lot of opinions about her. And Nia seems to be trying to stay in the shadows more, although it's not surprising. She's so mysterious.
The girl beamed with a smile. It appears she was genuinely happy to chat about her favorite streamers.
Please never do this. Never talk about me in person with people. That's weird. Or do, I don't care.
Well, according to her, the situation with fans in the town is contradictory. This is interesting. It requires to investigate on the spot. In the meantime, it's worth getting more details from her. It's time to start getting serious. The information is almost within my grasp.
Stalker.
But you seem to like Emmy more, right? I couldn't resist asking a more personal question despite my intention to find out some useful facts. Seriously, judging by the dark and light strands mixed in her hair, she dyed it in a similar way to Emmy. The girl blushed slightly.
Yes, I mean, how can anyone not like her? She's so bright and spectacular and confident. She achieves everything she wants.
She paused for a moment, if lost in thought. Yeah, because that looks like thought, not blankly staring into space.
Yeah, no, there's no brain in there. Do you want to encourage her with a couple of leading questions or wait for her to collect her thoughts?
I mean, if we're actually looking to screw this chick, then yeah, we definitely want to go with the top one. Never let them think that much.
I don't know, S level or M level. I'm not sure what that means.
But some still don't like her. I think you mentioned the strange rumors and opinions. Well, S and M is slave and master, so you got a slave level as opposed to a master level.
Wait, does that mean she's gonna be our slave or is she gonna be our master?
I think since we got a slave point, that means that she's going to be the slave because we took the lead. I think if you let her take the lead to collect her thoughts, I think you would have gotten the master point.
You don't want pegging, so
Um,
let's make her a slave. Whoop. That could have ended
What?
badly for me. Nothing. I'm not gonna say something that's gonna get me in trouble. I'm a cute little unicorn.
The girl brightened up a bit. Yep. Controversial stories and fan theories will always be the best conversation starters, especially if the stories are true.
The majority of the rumors aren't confirmed by anything, and a lot of them are based on how Emmy presents herself.
I raised an eyebrow.
I'm talking about her vampire vibe. Oh, Lord.
Oh god, are we going into gothic territory?
To be
it
fair,
just a-
we do know an Eldritch Abomination.
Is it just a vibe, or...
Are you really gonna tell me you believe in vampires?
I decided to slow down a bit because I sensed a hint of irritation in her voice.
Oh my god, are we a vampire hunter? Because this might become a funnier visual novel.
Is that when we have to stake all the vampires we fuck?
With your dick?
Well, I mean... You start there, and then you have to stake the heart afterwards.
I don't know, this is a porn game. You might be able to cure him with your dick.
As long as it's not a silver cock sleeve, I think we'll be fine. I've never met any of them, that's for sure. But I love those kinds of stories. Our world would be completely boring if everything about it was real and ordinary. People make up all these shenanigans for a reason. It's mostly boredom. The girl softened up a little.
I don't know who makes these stories up and why, but the last time I came here for a few was a give me a second. But last time I came here a few months ago, I got sick and tired of these stupid warnings about late night strolls. Even random passerbys were pissing me off. They would come up to me on the streets and talk all that nonsense. Allegedly, there were several people who disappeared in the town recently and were never found. As if people don't disappear anywhere else. But no, those gossipers have the nerve to blame it on a local celebrity. Honestly, who could refuse the late night wow. Honestly, who could refuse the late night life in End City? It seems like this town is living its best life at night. You're in Russia.
She closed her eyes slightly, and that got me thinking. So, the nightlife, huh? Well, I guess I didn't fuck up my sleep schedule on the train for nothing. And if these random passerby are so talkative about the latest news, then I'll always have someone to talk to. Nightlife sounds great. If only I were a vampire.
Stop with the fairy tale bullshit. I'm starting to understand why you're watching Emmy's streams. You are definitely one of those mystic lovers.
Chuckling to myself, I decided to change the subject. Look, do you know if they arrange fan meetings once in a while? It's a good opportunity, considering they live in the same place and are already known in the area. Sadly, she shook her head.
I'm just gonna point out, I'm guessing this is probably their first visual novel, so I'm not gonna be too mean, but a little bit of animation, like you're doing the eye blinks, which are nice, and the hand movements with the hair, but maybe like for when they say slowly shakes her head, or she shakes her head, you could do a little bit of that. You know, just a thought for if you guys do another visual novel. No, nothing like that, unfortunately. Or those meetings are so secret that I haven't heard of them. But I'm following everything they do very carefully, so it's unlikely.
I sighed. It was disappointing, but not unexpected. Everything would be too easy if I was lucky enough to catch a fan meeting.
Stalker. Don't be too sad. There are a lot of cool places to visit, so you'll have a nice time anyway. End City. God, I want to say something terrible. End City is literally soaked in gothic neon and all this incredible energy. You'll feel it just by walking the streets. And if you're lucky enough to meet Nia or even Emmy, you'll have a story to tell.
She was talking with such a gasp that my skin crawled. All those intriguing details. So you're saying it's very normal to meet one of them on the streets?
I don't know if it's normal or not, but I saw a girl once who looked a lot like Emmy. To be honest with you, I was too shy to approach. But next time I'll definitely go up to her.
She continued her chatter, listing the places to go.
By the way, you guys can buy some of our merch. Just saying. Link in the description.
I listened to this giant amount of information about the small but unfamiliar town without very much delving. I remembered a few typical places for the nightlife she praised, like clubs and bars, so I decided that I would figure out the rest on the spot. When our train began to slow down on the tracks to the railway station, the girl paused and started digging in her backpack that was buried under a bunch of badges, keychains, and patches. She fished out a collection of trinkets, all in a similar style, and showed them to me.
Do you want any? I think you deserve a little prize for helping me pass the time.
My eyes were dazzled at the sight of this motley pile, but I still chose something for myself. Take the badge with the Emmy logo, or take the flyer with ornate writing. This is completely up to you.
I want to try the ornate writings.
Okay.
Oh.
The paper was slightly crumpled from being in a backpack for a long time. Picking it up, I read, "Zero Nightclub, your ticket to the realm of rave."
We are gonna be on so many drugs.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh,
no. This is gonna be like Dayglow again.
I do like when you kind of, put your mouse over it. It does actually show it. That's a nice touch.
There was some standard information about the address, opening hours, and partners below. Besides, everything was decorated in a suspiciously familiar pink and black tone. Seeing as I was interested in this flyer, the girl exhaled as she was relieved.
Oh, it's a pass to one of those most popular local places I was talking about. A vivid place, they say. Even Emmy visits occasionally.
He hesitated a little.
It's too noisy for my liking, but if you like such things, I advise you to go. Anyway, it's better to see everything with your own eyes, right?
I nodded, thoughtfully. I didn't plan it as a fun trip, but maybe it's worth checking the rumors of Emmy showing up there.
Stalker.
And after all, you need to rest sometimes. The girl does seem to need that paper anyway. Thanks! This will probably be helpful to me. The train finally slowed down. Passengers jumped up from their seats, hurrying to the exit and pushing each other aside. Damn. I decided to wait for this bustle to pass, and my companion seems to have followed the same plan. It was hard to continue the dialogue in the uproar, so I was watching the flow of people or the landscape through the window where the flow was pouring out.
Oh, hey,
Magic
music.
wow.
Porn music.
Oh, yep, we're gonna have a train sex scene.
Woo! Bow, chicka,
Finally, the
bow,
aisle
wow.
became clearer, and picking up our stuff, we got out. Okay, maybe not. A warm breeze blew into face, so pleasant after the passenger car's stuffiness. The train station we arrived at was quite small. Its building was standing lonely aside. Most people passed by it further into town.
Is she just gonna keep standing in front of us being creepy?
It seems that way. Unless we fuck her. I looked at my companion. She waved her hand hesitantly.
Is she gonna keep this, like, continuously blank look as we fuck her?
Probably.
Well, thanks for the company. Maybe I'll see you again. Or not. Good luck anyway.
She moved slowly in the same direction the other passengers were going, but I stayed on the platform for a while longer, looking around. The sun was setting and the forest behind the railway tracks was golden in its rays. Lanterns and garlands were gradually lighting up in the outskirts of gardens.
I do really like the background, though. It is nice. It looks like because of the lights around the house with the blue, that it's got like the matrix going down it. Matrix symbols.
A little bit. Even more than the smell of the railway station, there was an aroma of herbs and pine in the cool evening air.
By aromas, we mean weed.
Yes. I took a couple of photos with my phone, adjusted my backpack, and headed toward the residential building. I was walking through the narrow streets and looking around. It was so nice to warm up after a few days sitting and lying on the train. Even a heavy backpack and a bag full of stuff hasn't bothered me too much yet, although I took a lot of things that could be useful for work. I've replayed the purpose of my trip to this small Siberian town once again in my head. To investigate the activities of self-proclaimed vampire streamers.
Oh my god, you're totally a vampire hunter.
I'm Van Helsing!
Oh, we should have
not-
named him that.
It sounded either too epic or pathetic. Well, it wasn't exactly right. According to the image, only one of them was a vampire, and the other was her thrall.
Renfield 2 got weird.
Renfield 1 was weird.
But it was the good kind of weird.
Who they really are is a mystery that has to be solved by me, the author of the magnificent mystical blog, saying hello to Chthonics.
Suka, do you want to come take this one over? Stop giving me the middle finger. She's mean. Mike, tell her to stop being mean to me.
Who's giving you the middle finger?
Suka, she won't take over.
That's unfortunate. Although I overstated a little about the magnificent, I have about 700 subscribers there. They even show a good interest in my post.
Dude, this was totally rank. Kill yourself. So typical blog stuff.
Yeah. It was one of the subscribers who gave me this case, along with a substantial donation, which was more than enough for round-trip tickets.
There was a donator trying to get you murdered by a vampire. Sweet.
No, there was a donator who was seeing if you were stupid enough to stake another human being thinking they were a vampire. But it's not just about the money. After a quick look through the materials on the internet, I really was into this story. Besides money and interest, there was one more thing. To attract attention. It would be great to do some hyped content to expand the audience.
I'm gonna live stream stabbing a vampire live. Right on Facebook, and if you get what I'm referencing,
Oh, I know exactly what you're referencing.
I'm a bad unicorn.
I started blogging about a year ago. Already having some experience writing articles, which I acquired during my studies. Yep, I was studying to be a journalist while simultaneously I was blogging and considering to change the first to the second. I don't know how stereotypical the story is, but it just happens. What I would learn in this town could be a step towards success for me, so I was pretty determined. Being deep in thought, I didn't notice that the quiet outskirts were replaced by urban district.
Ooh.
But when I looked closer, I immediately realized what the fangirl from the train was talking about. My eyes were dazzled by the motley neon in the thickening twilight. The signs flashed on and off, blending into a huge colored glow that almost could make you forget about the looming night. In front of me was a long street full of various styled buildings, and just for a second, I felt lost. I roughly knew where the hotel that I booked a room was, but looking at the time, I realized that it was still about an hour and a half before check-in. A guy was moving towards me that seemed to know where he was going, and was quite suitable for asking him questions on what was nearby. I called out to him, and he stopped a couple of steps away from me.
You want me to take him or you want to take him?
It is completely up to you.
I'll take him. Can I help you with something?
Yes, I would like to know where I can grab a bite to eat or pass the time. And maybe if there are any interesting places around. The guy scratched his head.
Well, our town is not exactly a tourist one, so there aren't universal tips. You know, everyone has different interests. But there are a lot of places you can go grab a bite on the go. There's a good shawarma place right around the corner. I've been eating there as long as I can remember. A very old place, even though from the outside it tries to look new.
He made a strange gesture with his hand, showing either a string of widespread neon signs or something that only he understood.
There are a lot of cafes with more variety on the menu, but they are further down the street. By the way, almost everything is open around the clock or late. It's convenient. If there isn't anything to do, you can go shopping. There's a whole alley of various goods nearby, souvenirs and all kinds of mysticism, if you like such a thing, of course. But I don't recommend going off the main street initially. It is very easy to get lost. So looking around, it's better to remember where you come from. Though sometimes, in most unexpected places, you can come across such architecture that it's difficult not to look. I remember once...
He began to tell me a story, and I was showered with terms. The only clear one was facade. Seriously? Did I run into some kind of a local art expert?
Architecture snob.
The guy was getting more and more excited and animated, despite the heavy-looking bags in his hands, along with the one that was hanging over his shoulder. He threw them from hand to hand and hung them on his wrist, showing proportions with his fingers that meant nothing to me. And I just kept talking. Can I tell him to go fuck off?
No, you get to pick one of the two.
Yeah, boy. I mean, here's the thing. Do we want to be polite or do we want to interrupt him?
Do you want to be a slave or a master?
Well, I mean, you're
Actually, I don't know if either. I would say offer to help him with his bag. That might shut him up. But it's up to you.
We could. Yeah, all right. Well, we'll offer to help him with the bag. All right, all right, so it seems like the top ones are the slave options, the bottom ones are the master option. I picked the right moment and gently grabbed his wrist. He looked at me questioningly.
Is something not clear? I can repeat it.
No. I just think these bags look really heavy. I don't want to seem impolite and not help you, especially for helping me navigate in an unfamiliar town. I spoke slowly, trying to temper the sudden favor of this passerby and guide the talk into a calmer direction. It turned out to be surprisingly effective. He opened his mouth, then closed it, and then loosened his grip, allowing me to take one of his bags. Mine now, bitch.
Now run.
It turned out to be almost as heavy as mine. Is he carrying some kind of equipment too? Or bricks? An architecture fan? Just in case, I still tried to hold it carefully. So, where should I carry it? The guy more or less came to his senses.
Yeah, it's not far from here. My car is literally parked a stone's throw away. I'll unload it there and everything will be okay.
He moved in his previous direction, and I followed him. For a second, I thought I was his cheeks starting to turn red. On the way, the guy told his story, but without going into unnecessary details, I even got a couple of things out of it. First off, the town changed a lot from the outskirts to the center. Styles mixed and superimposed on one another, and in some places it was possible to think that you were in some kind of metropolitan party district. Secondly, all this rave, neon, and cyberpunk haven't been here for very long. No more than 5 years. Who started it isn't entirely clear. All of this was obviously worth thinking about later, but now the guy and I finally got to his car and I helped him load his stuff there.
Thanks for your help. I would have done it on my own, but it's nice not to do everything myself.
No problem. I'm not in a hurry and you really helped me. I'll keep your advice in mind. I patted him on the shoulder and we said goodbye. I looked at my watch, showed that the conversation with the passerby took longer than I expected. The neon street had lost some aura of mystery, and I was thinking about how to make my route better. Grab a bite, keep going to the hotel.
That's up to you.
Let's go grab a bite to eat and maybe get some more. I need to refresh myself after such a thorough discussion, and I can't even remember the last time I ate. I remembered the passerby instructions and looked around the corner. Indeed, there was a small building. Seeing as it had a bright and, of course, neon sign with a picture of shawarma, this was exactly what I needed. Going inside, I ordered the most standard food that was on the menu and was faced with an unpleasant surprise. Card payments didn't work. At all. Is that what the passerby meant by saying this place was old? I opened my wallet, and fortunately, beside a couple of large bills lying there for a last resort, I found several small ones.
What do you mean the shawarma's $100?
I handed them to the cashier and received a bunch of coins in return. I haven't paid in cash for many years, so much for a small town trying to pass as a techno capital. While waiting for my order, I sorted through the change before putting it in my pocket. One of the coins was clearly different from the others. I didn't want to bother myself more by having an argument with the cashier, so I just put it aside to have a closer look later. After receiving my order, I sat down in the corner and began to eat, examining the coin at the same time. It was small, golden, without any numbers, only the letter V carved on both sides. It looks more like a token, not a coin. I shrugged my shoulders and put the strange asset in my pocket. After finishing the shawarma, which was quite tasty and nourishing, I felt full of energy and returned to the main street. After checking the GPS on my phone, I saw it was giving me several paths to my destination. The shortest one went through black streets. The other two almost went the same way, mostly along the main street. But one of them was full of the icons of different shops. No, I think it's better to go to the hotel without getting distracted. I will still have time to explore the dark alleys and souvenir shops in the coming days, if the need arises. And now I wanted to finally get to a place where I could take a shower, not to carry all my luggage and get comfortable with my laptop.
That is literally any time you go to a hotel.
Yes. That's why I moved forward along the street, under the hum of cars and the noise of passersby moving to my goal, and sometimes looking around. I was getting used to the town that I would be exploring in the next few days. Finally, I reached the address where my hotel was located. It turned out to be a grand and dark building, strongly different from the usual residential buildings around. Yeah, residential buildings around.
It's not very often I get to correct you. so I enjoy it when I can.
However, on the way, I saw even more strange architectural contrasts, so I didn't feel much antipathy. What is important to me is what was inside. I went into the lobby, and as soon as I showed my documents and introduced myself, the key to the room I had booked was immediately found.
And what's gonna happen next? We'll have to find out if you... Where's the safe?
Does it have
Oh,
an
I've
autosave
never
function?
seen that.
Does it
There's
have an
no
autosave
save.
function?
Guys, and thank you for joining me, Mike.
This got weird.
It did.